Well, hello there, friends. You know, there's something special about hitting your 60s. After all those years raising kids, working hard, and keeping life on track, you finally get a moment to catch your breath. It's like life hands you a fresh sheet of paper and says, what do you want to make of it? For me, that moment came at 64 when I picked up a paintbrush again, first time since I was a teenager. And music? Oh, music's like an old friend that never leaves you. Whether it's humming a tune from the 60s or strumming a guitar, these hobbies can light up our golden years with joy and purpose. Let me share why painting and music can truly change your life after 60. Painting's not just about splashing colors on a canvas, it's about rediscovering who you are. At our age, we've got a lifetime of stories, the joy of watching your kids grow, that quiet walk on a beach at sunset, or dancing at a wedding. When you paint, you're putting those memories into shapes and colors. I started with watercolors at the local senior center, and let me tell you, it was like opening a door to my own heart. At 64, I didn't need to be a master artist, just a guy with a brush and a bit of courage. Every stroke felt like a piece of my life coming alive again. It's not about creating a masterpiece, it's about the feeling you get when you're lost in the moment, just you and the paint. And here's the best part, painting brings you closer to others. I joined an art group down at the community center, and it's been a hoot. We're all over 60, swapping stories about our grandkids or that time we saw Elvis in concert, all while trying not to smudge our canvases. We laugh, we learn, and sometimes we grab coffee after class. I read somewhere, think it was the National Institute on Aging, that painting can lower stress and keep your mind sharp. At our age, that's like finding gold. It's not just about the art, it's about feeling connected and keeping your brain buzzing. Now, let's talk about music. Remember twisting to Chubby Checker or singing along to Simon and Garfunkel? Music's woven into our lives, from first dates to family road trips. After 60, it's the perfect time to pick up that guitar you always meant to learn or tinker with the piano sitting in your living room. I decided to try the ukulele at 65, and let me tell you, strumming Somewhere Over the Rainbow makes me feel like I'm 20 again. I'm no professional, but every note lifts my spirits. Science says playing music can boost your mood and even help with those creaky joints by keeping your fingers nimble. And there's nothing like belting out an old favorite to remind you life's still got plenty of spark. Music's a connector, too. I joined a little music group at the local Y, folks in their 60s and 70s, some with harmonicas, others with tambourines. We're not headed for Carnegie Hall, but we have a blast playing old tunes and sharing memories. It's like a little piece of youth comes back every time we sing together. Painting and music aren't just things to do, they're ways to rediscover yourself, to feel alive, to connect with others. In our golden years, we've earned the right to chase what makes our hearts sing. So, grab a paintbrush or play a chord. Your next chapter's waiting to be written, friends. So, friends, we've been talking about how painting and music can light up our lives after 60, and I can't help but get excited thinking about all the ways these hobbies keep us young at heart. At 64, I found myself holding a paintbrush again, and at 65, strumming a ukulele, both changed how I see my golden years. But you might be wondering, how do I even start? I'm no artist or musician. Well, let me walk you through some simple steps to dip your toes into painting and music, and why these passions are so good for us as we embrace this chapter of life. Let's start with painting. You don't need a fancy studio or expensive supplies to begin. When I was 66, I grabbed a $10 watercolor set from the local craft store and some paper from my grandkids' art stash. That's all it took to get going. Find a quiet spot, maybe your kitchen table or a corner by a window, and start with something simple, like painting a flower or a sunset. There's no pressure to be perfect. I remember my first painting looked more like a blob than a tree, but it felt so good to create. If you're nervous, check out the senior center or library. They often have free or low-cost art classes for folks our age. You'll be surprised how many of us, in our 60s and 70s, are giving it a go, learning together and having a laugh. Painting does something special for your soul. At our age, we've got so much wisdom and experience, and putting that into art is like writing a love letter to your life. I found that when I paint, I'm calmer, almost like meditating. The National Institute on Aging says creative activities like this can lower blood pressure and even help with memory. I'm 67 now, and I swear my mind feels sharper when I'm mixing colors. Plus, it's a chance to share your work. I gave a painting to my daughter last Christmas, and the look on her face. Worth every wobbly brushstroke. Now, music's just as easy to pick up, and it's a gift that keeps giving. You don't need to be a prodigy or even read music. At 66, I walked into a music shop and bought a ukulele because it looked fun and wasn't too pricey. I started with YouTube videos. There are tons of free lessons out there for folks like us, teaching simple chords. I practiced Amazing Grace for weeks, and when I finally got it, I felt like I'd won a Grammy. If strumming's not your thing, try singing. Join a choir at your church or community center. Most of them welcome us silver-haired folks, no audition needed. I know a gal, Mary, 70 years young, who sings in a senior choir and says it's the highlight of her week. What's so wonderful about music is how it lifts you up. Playing a tune or singing an old favorite like Moon River brings back memories and makes new ones. Science tells us music can ease anxiety and even help with things like arthritis by keeping your hands moving. I've got a bit of stiffness in my fingers, but strumming keeps them loose. And the best part? Music connects us. I started jamming with a group of folks in their 60s at the local Y. We play everything from folk to Elvis, and it's like we're kids again, laughing and sharing stories between songs. These hobbies, painting and music, are like keys to unlocking joy. They let you express yourself, keep your mind and body active, and bring you closer to others. In our 60s and beyond, we've got the time and the heart to try something new. So, pick up a brush, sing a song, or strum a chord. It's not about being the best, it's about feeling alive and making every day in these golden years count. Now that we've talked about how to dive into painting and music, I can't help but reflect on what these hobbies have done for me and so many others in our 60s and beyond. At 67, I'm finding that picking up a paintbrush or strumming my ukulele isn't just about passing time, it's about rediscovering joy, purpose, and even a bit of who I was years ago. These golden years are a gift, and painting and music are like the wrapping paper that makes every day feel like a celebration. Let me share why these passions are so powerful and how they can keep us thriving as we embrace this season of life. Painting has become my way of holding on to the moments that matter. At 68, I painted a picture of the old oak tree in my backyard, where my kids used to swing. Every brushstroke brought back those summer days, and it felt like I was weaving my past into my present. It's not just about nostalgia, though. Painting gives you a chance to dream, to imagine new possibilities. Whether you're 65 or 75, creating something with your own hands gives you a sense of pride that's hard to beat. I know folks in their 70s at the senior center who've turned their paintings into gifts for family or even sold a few at local craft fairs. It's proof that our creativity doesn't have an expiration date. And the benefits go deeper than you might think. I was reading up some report from the National Institute on Aging, I believe, that says painting can help with things like depression and keep your brain engaged. At our age, that's a big deal. When I'm focused on blending colors for a sunset, my worries just melt away. It's like a mini vacation for my mind. Plus, sharing your art with others, whether it's your grandkids or friends at the community center, builds bonds that make these years richer. I've seen shy folks in their 60s open up, smiling and chatting, all because they shared a canvas. Music's just as powerful. At 68, I'm no virtuoso, but when I play You Are My Sunshine on my ukulele, it's like the years fall away. Music has this magic, it can take you back to your first dance or forward to a new memory with your grandkids singing along. I know a fellow, Jim, 73, who started playing the harmonica after his wife passed. He says it's been his lifeline, giving him something to hold on to. Studies say music can lift your spirits, help with memory, and even ease physical aches by keeping your hands and mind active. I've noticed my arthritis bothers me less when I'm strumming regularly, and that's a win at my age. What's beautiful about both painting and music is how they remind us we're still growing. In our 60s, 70s, and beyond, we're not done learning or creating. These hobbies let us explore, express, and connect in ways we might not have expected. I think of my friend Sally, 70, who started a small music group with other seniors. They play at the local nursing home, bringing smiles to everyone. It's a reminder that our talents can touch others, no matter our age. So, friends, if you're sitting there thinking, I'm too old to start, let me tell you, you're not. Whether you're 62 or 82, painting and music are waiting for you. Grab some paints, join a choir, or pick up that dusty guitar. These golden years are your time to shine, to create, to live with joy. I've found so much happiness in these hobbies, and I know you can too. Thanks for joining me today, friends. If you enjoyed this, please hit that subscribe button, it means the world to keep our community growing. Until next time, keep creating and keep shining. I'll see you soon.